Chris.
Hello, Richard.
What on earth's coming up this week?
Well, we have got a random episode of a random Gerry Anderson series.
And you got the first part of my interview with Naomi Opalinska.
Oh, and the Podsterons have been writing it in their droves.
And there might be some newsy news.
The Gerry Anderson Podcast with Jamie Anderson, Richard James and Chris Dale.
Hello.
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 Hello at home. Hello, listeners and viewers
Hello,
to the Gerry
all
Anderson
children
podcast.
everywhere.
Yes. Here we are again. It's exciting, isn't it? Because anything could happen.
Keeps being exciting
Yeah.
somehow.
I know.
Slough has never been so exciting.
Apart from in Crossroads to Crime.
That's true.
It was pretty exciting.
exciting.
Looking forward to seeing that on Blu-ray, just saying.
4K.
Yeah, it'd be great. Anyway, yes, here we are for the next hour and a quarter or so.
Yes.
It's going to be a great one this week because we're going to be introducing and welcoming our guest, Naomi Opalinska, who was
yes.
the commercials producer with Gerry in the 80s, early 90s. If you were watching TV at that time, you will know of which I am speaking.
Yes. Hobnobs.
Jamie, there's no
Shoes.
call for that sort of language.
Sanitary towels.
Yeah, that's right.
Burger
Domestos.
King.
Yes.
Toilet ducks.
Swinton
The scary
Insurance.
skeleton tape
Archie.
thing. Archie.
Yes.
Was that also, did
Yes.
Naomi, because, all right, great. Yes, was it Memorex or BASF or something? Funny, isn't it? Sony?
Scotch.
Scotch tape.
Scotch tape. Remember Scotch tape?
Yes. So we'll be chatting to Naomi about what many people consider to be sort of a fallow period in Gerry's career, mainly because there were no sort of series being made, I guess. But actually, we know it was from your interview with Mummy A many moons ago.
Yes,
it
indeed.
was a difficult period, but that doesn't mean to say that he wasn't still being creative and getting stuff done.
He was doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we'll be
So
talking.
it's really nice to cover that period for a change.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing Naomi later. Chris, what are you bringing to the table?
I don't know. I occupy this chair and occasionally offer some insights and a spot of humour, maybe.
Oh, right.
Witticisms.
Okay, look forward to that.
I'm the glamour.
Yes.
Mainly, I was thinking about the randomiser.
Oh, well, the randomiser, that's sort of a shared thing now, isn't it? We
Yeah.
have a randomiser, all the episodes are in there, press
Yeah.
a button, and the drill.
Now, a couple of weeks ago for Pod 350, we welcomed Sarah Cronin from Talking Pictures TV.
You
Sarah,
did.
yes.
And we also watched an episode of my favourite Gerry Anderson series, The Protectors.
Oh,
We
yes.
did.
Oh, what a shame I missed it.
Chris, would you like to read out the first comment beneath
Yes, indeed.
said video on YouTube?
This is from Niche Mike, or
Okay.
Niche Mike, depending on how you pronounce it.
Probably niche. I like
niche.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Niche-
this week's
niche meek.
podcast, in this week's podcast, being Pod 350, it was lovely to see and hear Sarah Cronin and learn something of the work and dedication it takes to give us Talking Pictures TV. I discovered the podcast and Talking Pictures TV about the same time, a few years ago, and both are firmly established in my must-see schedules.
Hooray!
That's nice.
Please keep up the good work.
We'll
This
try.
Talking Pictures is 10 years old this year, so we've got a bit further to go until we're
Not that far, though, to be fair.
No.
Yeah. We'll soon be catching them up. Do you want to take the next one there, Jamie?
Oh, yes. It's emboldened for some reason.
Is
Does that mean it's
Not
important?
on my script, it's
Not
not.
on mine either.
Oh, yeah. I think it was on
Oh,
mine.
yes, that's
That's
odd, isn't it?
strange.
Yeah.
This is from Dave.
Right, you don't have to shout it just because it's emboldened. In
Sorry.
Yeah,
This is from Dave.
that's better.
Dave says, you can tell that Talking Pictures has been a massive success as a TV channel overall because ever since they launched, the main terrestrial channels, namely BBC and ITV, have been gradually playing more of the older black and white films as competition. Of course, they did have the advantage of a considerably larger wallet and so tend to put on the big money films.
That's true.
But Talking Pictures hold up their own end really well. They do a great job.
Yeah.
A lovely range of stuff and so much Anderson.
Yeah.
And just because the film doesn't have a huge budget behind it doesn't mean that it can't be great.
Oh, there's some
In its own
fantastic
right,
films
yeah.
in that.
Quite right. Crossroads to Crime.
Crossroads to Crime.
Stop it.
Richard Goodball says, hi, gents. Bobby's Tower. Now, this is featured
Bobby's
in the
Tower,
episode
yes.
of The Protectors that we
Yes.
were watching. Well, where Harry hides in The Protectors episode, says Rich was actually filmed at the Bridgewater Memorial on the Ashridge Estate near Aldbury, which I think is quite near me. Now run by the National Trust, and he suggests that a Podders meetup is go.
Well,
Gosh.
I've seen
One
a few
of the-
people on the Facebook group mention that as well.
so I think one of us has to be wounded, and then everyone else can chase them through the forest.
Yeah.
And whoever gets to Bobby's Tower first is the winner.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Please,
And
let's
since Jamie
do
doesn't
that.
know what we're talking about,
No.
he can be the one to run.
Ah, yes. Sounds like a plan.
Great.
No?
Can't wait.
Okay. Do comment beneath our videos. We premiere every Sunday evening, 7 o'clock on YouTube, and then the audio version of the podcast drops the next morning. So you can be one of the first people to see and hear the podcast on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And comment live, We won't answer.
Because we're not actually there live.
We're not there.
No.
So when you're saying any news on Stingray Technical Operations
We can't
Manual,
answer.
We can't answer
No,
that.
no, nothing
If
to
we
be said
could,
there.
we would say
Here's some news
about
Exactly.
the Stingray Technical Operation, but we
Yeah.
can't.
Talking about news, I wonder if there's any news about the Stingray Technical Operations Manual in this week's Gerry Anderson news.
Oh,
No, there isn't, but there is other news in the Gerry Anderson news.
that's all right then.
It's the Gerry Anderson newsy news.
News.
Yeah, he did sing it too
super
quietly,
news.
though, isn't
What
he?
do I do it at the end, you see? I'm just joining in.
Oh, like you do the song.
I do
and
the big production
sorry.
number at the end.
Yes, got you.
Are we done?
Sorry, yes, do carry on.
Okay. Now, a number of weeks ago, we mentioned a thing that we weren't able to mention, but we're now able to mention.
Right.
And Chris, very cleverly, very smart, in the style of a sort of a cryptic crossword clue almost, said that a particular adjective that was 5 letters long
Oh, yes.
related to this release.
And I suggested it might be crazy.
Crazy. Well, it is crazy that we're doing this. but
Right.
It's not quite.
Okay.
Yeah. What was that adjective, Chris?
Adjective was super.
Super. Now, there's super marionation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Super macromation.
super macromation.
Yeah.
What other super is there in the world of
There's
Anderson?
super space theatre.
Super space
Ah,
theatre.
right. Explain.
Well, this was a range of compilation movies produced end of the 70s and then through the early years of the 80s. Several Anderson episodes bolted together and released on cable in the US and on VHS in the UK as films.
Were they popular?
Well, they were the only way you could get to see these shows on video, so...
Yeah.
High praise indeed
Yes.
there, Chris.
And people have been asking since they found out about the Thunderbirds Blu-ray release coming up, will you get the Super Space Theatre movies on there?
No, you won't.
No, you won't.
But you will be able to get them much sooner
I
in
see.
their
yes.
own special release.
I see.
The Thunderbirds Super Space Theatre episodes, or movies,
Movies,
I should say,
of which
Yeah.
there are 3.
have been remastered in HD.
Yes.
Right.
Lovely cleaned up soundtrack.
Original soundtrack, not
Original
not just the episode
soundtrack.
soundtrack. Yeah.
And the team's been working on these very sneakily in the background.
Yes.
Sneaky people.
And pre-order goes live for these on the 28th of March, which is just a few days' time
Yep.
from when this podcast is released.
Yes.
Oh,
Great.
lovely.
So I'm
Exciting.
very excited about
I'm
that.
very excited, yes.
Yeah.
And it's not just the films. We have, I believe we have VHS copies of the films as well.
Yes.
So if you want to see them in their original smeary NTSC
I
glory,
see.
you absolutely can.
Yeah, good. Who wouldn't want to see that?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Can we say much more about extras? Because we have some...
I mean, go on, Chris. Tell us
we
about the
have
extras.
Some physical extras, do we not? I believe we have.
Oh, yes,
Prints of the posters.
Print of the posters, as
Oh.
postcards. There's
Yeah.
probably something else in there. And then an extra feature.
Yes, I chatted to the wonderful David Hirsch, who
course
was
you did.
the consultant who helped put these together in the 80s.
Right.
And so there's a little half-hour documentary interview type thing on there
Yeah.
with David as well. So, yeah.
There you go, some extras. So that starts our new range.
Oh, it's
of
a range,
It is a
is it?
range
Oh.
of Super Space Theatre releases, which will be coming out over the next year or two.
Oh, what more might we see in that range?
Wow.
Well, I mean, if you know Super Space Theatre, you'll be able to guess.
Okay.
But, you know, there are other shows that
Yeah.
have the Super Space Theatre treatment.
There's
and,
14 films altogether.
Yeah.
Right,
Across
right.
multiple shows.
Nice.
And Chris may be also doing something creative in that area.
Creative.
What, Chris?
Yes.
Yes.
Unheard of.
Yes.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
Within the field of Super Space Theatre.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's
we'll find
something
out
we'll
more.
talk about another time.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's a limited edition release available for pre-order from Friday the 28th of March.
Nice.
It's
Oh,
gonna be
from
lovely.
gerryanderson.com.
Yes. Great.
That's it. Just keep it short and sweet, to
Fair
the
enough.
point.
Yeah.
Super Space Theatre. Did you guess, Podsterons, what Chris's 5-letter
was very
adjective
cunning.
was? No? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
no, Richard certainly didn't.
No.
More adjective teasers to come in future weeks.
Really?
Probably. I don't know.
Is this a new segment?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Adjective teasers.
Great. But until next adjective, that was the Gerry Anderson news, and that's the end of this week's Gerry Anderson news.
That was was the newsy news. The newsy news.
What?
Newsy news.
Why is he singing the big ship sails on the alley alley o?
Because he's run out of ideas.
There is a Super Space Theatre connection.
That's Yellow Submarine.
That is Yellow Submarine. One of the Super Space Theatre Stingray movies has on the end credits, instead of any music from Stingray, as you might expect, they have a hybrid, a concert performance of the Thunderbirds theme and Yellow Submarine together at last.
How on earth did they get the rights for that?
Barry Gray had it in his collection, sent it over, and they put it on the film.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
It is quite the trip.
Yes.
See, it's always relevant.
Yes.
Until it
Impressive.
isn't. Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Well done, Chris.
Talking of relevant and impressive, would you like to see the first part of my interview with Naomi Opalinska?
Oh, I thought you were going to lead into the Podsterons.
Yeah.
Always relevant and
I'll
impressive.
be coming a little later on.
Oh, okay.
Also, another string to Naomi's bow, as well as being the producers, the commercial producer with Gerry in the 80s and 90s, is now she's a cat whisperer.
Oh, yeah.
She's a cat behavioural therapist.
Nice.
Impressive.
So I should be chatting to her about that as well. In fact, I'll be chatting to her. I'm going to do it right now.
Now?
I can't
Do it
hold back
now.
any longer. Over to me and Naomi. Well, welcome to the Gerry Anderson podcast, Naomi Opalinska.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me.
No, it's lovely to have you with us. What's so interesting about you is that you've worked with Gerry through a fairly sort of undocumented period of his career, I suppose it's fair to say.
Yeah.
We know of Thunderbirds, we know of Stingray and Captain Scarlet and so on, but you worked with him throughout a very specific part of his career. How long was that? How long were you working with him?
I actually worked with him in his company for about 3 years. But I did a commercial with an advertising agency where I was a TV producer on the advertising side.
Right.
And we worked together on a very sort of low budget Festival Gardens in Liverpool, I think we did.
Nice.
And then he asked me, well, he was working with Christopher Burr at the time.
Yeah, right.
And they asked me if I would come and produce for him.
I see.
For Gerry on the production company side.
And when was that then? Is this...
So it was probably, I actually went to work for him about 86.
Okay.
And then I left in 89 when I had my first child.
I see. And based at Bray, would that be?
We
or?
were based
I
at Bray,
see.
yes.
So this is post-Terrorhawks, I think, is that
Yes,
right?
it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you first met him then, or were first introduced to him, was it a name that meant anything to you at all?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Yeah?
As a child, I grew up on his programmes.
Right.
Which probably does age me.
Well,
quite a
no,
bit.
there were lots of repeats. So,
Well, there were, yeah. I wasn't around when he literally first started
Yeah,
doing his
sure.
productions, but a little while afterwards.
Yeah.
And then he became really famous in the advertising world, actually.
Right.
For the commercial that he did for Royal Bank of Scotland.
I see.
And they were the Giacometti figures that walked around, and one of the statues had this idea for a pair of shoes because they literally had just stick legs.
Ah, yes.
And he asked the Royal Bank of Scotland if they could borrow
Right.
the money. And anyway, it won awards, and they did two. There was another one that had the idea for a hat. So the whole of the advertising world was really excited because these were kind of really a new thing.
Yes.
And it was stop frame animation.
Yes.
And
as you were part of that advertising world, obviously you saw his name
yes.
and recognised it at once, I would think.
Yeah,
then.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone did. I mean, I think everyone was a Gerry Anderson
Yes.
production fan. You
Yes.
know, they all grew up on those programmes.
Yeah.
So we got the show reel in, and I would show it to the creative teams, and everyone was really excited. And when we got these scripts in, which were honestly really, really low budget, but Gerry very kindly said, he would do them, and they worked really well. But probably not something that we would have put on the show reel, for example, because they were really low budget. But we worked really well together.
Yeah.
And then I was really surprised when they called me and said, "Would you like to come and work with us on the production company side?"
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've mentioned the RBS commercial there.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look and
Okay.
see what sparked the Anderson Renaissance in commercials. Let's have a
Okay.
look. Ah, yes.
If you've got a new business idea, why not talk it over with the Royal Bank of Scotland? You never know. They may be able to help you turn it into a reality instead of just a pipe dream. The Royal Bank of Scotland.
Nice. The advert that made
Lovely,
waves
isn't it?
for Gerry. Yeah, it's
and
very nice.
he won a silver arrow at the
Right.
British Television Advertising Awards.
Right. And of course, many people watching that at home wouldn't know necessarily or at all that it was a Gerry Anderson production, would
Yeah,
they?
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how does it work then? Not just for that commercial, but in commercials generally. Let's take that as an example, though. Who would have come up with that concept? Would the concept have been brought to Gerry and his team?
Yes.
You? Or would you have to come up with that idea of the figures or whatever it might be?
Oh, okay. So what happens is the advertising agency would be briefed by the marketing department of the Royal Bank of Scotland.
Yeah.
And, they want a commercial for businesses, say, in this particular case. And then the agency would be briefed on what they wanted to achieve from the commercial.
Uh-huh.
And then it would go to the creative team,
Right.
where there is usually a copywriter and an art director.
Yeah.
And they would come up with a script, and then they would, when that was approved by the client,
Yeah.
they would then look for a director.
Yeah.
And so in this particular case, they wanted Gerry to do it.
I see. So they would make the approach to Gerry in that instance.
Yes.
I see.
And then they would be who we would call the production company
Yeah.
in advertising. And
Yeah.
then the production company would be asked to do a quote and come up with a storyboard and their
Right.
ideas, because then the director, in this case would be Gerry,
Yeah.
would come up with his different bits of input and
Yeah.
how he thought it could really work well.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I see. And of course, Gerry was famous really for surrounding himself with familiar faces, the likes of Christine Glanville, who stayed for him for many years. And
Yeah.
so, did you meet many of those people who have been with him for decades?
Yes, I did, at different times.
Uh-huh.
I met Christine when we did a commercial for Hobnobs.
Ah.
It was actually a Hobnob bar.
Right.
So it's it's like Hobnob biscuits. It's
Yeah.
got a white cream in the middle and then it's covered in chocolate.
Oh, don't.
I know. And we did that with Jan Ravens, who was a kind of very old school sort of Blue Peter presenter.
Yeah.
And there were two puppet characters, which
Uh-huh.
Christine did the puppeteering for.
Right.
One called Hob and one called Knob.
Of course. Makes sense.
And they just sort of had complete chaos in making these hobnob bars in the hobnob factory.
Great.
So it was quite funny, really, because there were, we had the live action and then we had, with Jan.
Yes.
And then we had the puppeteering.
Yes.
But they had to sort of cut them from the two together.
Yeah.
And Hob and Knob were chucking cream and chocolate around, and there was this big tub of cream
Yeah.
in the back of the studio,
Yeah.
which we sort of was very sort of fresh at the beginning of the week.
Yes.
But, it didn't really smell so
God.
fresh at the end of the shoot.
No, right.
And we had to flick chocolate at Jan's face. So, as you can imagine, she's sort of immaculately made up
Yeah.
with her lipstick
Yeah.
and looking very sort of 60s
Yeah.
or 50s. And we had really one take to get these
Of course.
blodges of chocolate to kind of go in the
Yes.
right place. So
Yes.
I can remember that one being a difficult one. But we did it, and it worked really well. And
Well-
it really was funny.
Well, we'll be the judge of that,
Yes,
Naomi, because we
please.
can have a look now. So let's have a look at this Hobnob commercial.
Hello, everybody. Hob and Knob are trying to make a hobnob bar. Do you think they'll manage it?
I see.
Oaty, crumbly, crunchy hobnob biscuit with cream filling and covered in chocolate. Hello, who's this? thoughtful chap.
New Hobnob bars, one nibble and your Hobnobber.
Wow, amazing. So I'm guessing that a lot of that was filmed separately, so Jan Raves in that instance was
Yeah.
probably only needed for that one day or whatever.
Yes.
But you mentioned it might have taken a week or so to do all the other...
I think that one was probably because it was actually all live action because we had the puppets.
Yes.
It wasn't really stop framing that
I
one, so
see.
that probably would, from memory, because we're going back quite a long
Yeah,
time.
I know.
A couple of days, I would have
Okay,
thought.
right.
But if you think, in advertising, they spend, days and days and days
Yeah.
creating 30, 40-second commercials.
Yeah,
so.
it's crazy, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
right. So what would can you sum up a typical day working with Gerry, what that might have been like? You get in the office at 9 a.m, and what would your day entail?
Well, it varied really because some of my time would be going around and seeing creative teams that I knew and had contacts with, showing the show reel to try and get scripts to come to the production company.
Yeah.
And then...
And would you kind of be responsible for putting the feelers out then for any work that might be going
Yes.
that you could almost pitch for? Is that?
Yeah, that's kind of what I did.
Okay.
I used my contact. I was in... Well, total, I was in advertising for about 13 years altogether. So I suppose, I had about 8 years in agencies before I went to work for Gerry.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And what else did your work entail? Once you had got hold of a script that you thought might be appropriate, what then?
Oh, well, then we just kind of waited for scripts to come in,
Yes.
which, Gerry was always just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
It's like, got anything in today then?
Right.
No, not yet. But
Yeah, okay.
hoping.
Yeah.
And then when we did get a script in, we all got really excited, and particularly Gerry did as well, because he just loved to get involved in his work.
Yeah.
He just really lived for his work.
Yeah.
And we would discuss it. He would always bring his whole team in to talk about it. It was a real family kind of atmosphere down at Bray Studios, which was lovely.
Yeah. Any names that we recognise then that you could remember?
Mark Willard,
Yeah.
Steve Begg,
Okay, yeah.
Richard Gregory,
right.
And Mary
Yeah.
Anderson, of course.
Yeah.
We all worked together.
I see.
And so he would just bring everyone in. We've got this script, what are your thoughts? It was real teamwork.
Great.
And then I would have to put a budget together, see if we came out with the right price to get the job.
Okay.
And
that's a tricky thing, though, isn't it? So it's a bit of a tightrope because you've got enough money to, not only make the thing, but also to pay everyone's wages, I guess.
Well, that's right.
And yet you can't pitch too high because I guess that would put you out of the running. Is that the case?
Yeah, because usually agencies would ask two or three production companies to quote.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just a financial thing, but people did want to know what the creative input was, what ideas Gerry had.
Yeah.
So that's why we'd always have these, Gerry would just call everyone into his office.
Yeah.
He'd had a great big desk. And Parker was in the corner in his glass cabinet, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And we'd just sit there and everyone would come up with ideas of how we could make the script work, or if they had any ideas of, what we could do to make it better. Or and then I would work with Gerry to, we had long discussions about how many days we needed, who he wanted to work with him on that film, and then we would submit the quote.
Yeah.
And fingers crossed.
Yes. You'd get the gig.
Yeah.
Was there a sense that having Gerry there, was that a kind of a bargaining chip? Was that an extra value added, as it were?
Well, I think it was, because I think most people at that time, really, did.
Had grown up
with Gerry and had warm feelings towards the programmes and everything. So to work with him, and particularly with the success he had with the Royal Bank of Scotland, I think they really did want to work with him.
Yeah.
But it was always just a question of, would the budget allow? Did they, align with his ideas that he had? And, and then you always get a bit of chemistry with people, don't you, whether you feel you can work with them.
Yeah.
But, it was... I think people did want to work with him, as you can imagine.
Absolutely
really.
right. Yeah. But it brings a bit of kudos to the project, I guess, to have a name like that attached. Now, I've asked you in our various email exchanges to supply us with your first Anderson memories and so on.
Yes.
So let's take a look at when you first remember watching Gerry Anderson on TV. Let's have a look at this.
That's funny. We both run away, and we both met each other. We'll have to be friends and stay together all the time.
That's a good idea. I've been very lonely myself.
Child?
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let's go to sleep now. And in the morning we can go looking for adventure.
A very quick clip, because that's all I can bear to watch. From Twizzle. Twizzle and Foot.
There's not many Twizzle clips around, I don't think.
I think there's only one
there?
remaining episode that's available to see. That's right. Your first Anderson memory.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's the beginning of the journey, really.
I know. I don't think I quite realised that until actually a few weeks ago
That's
when I
right.
was actually looking through it all chronologically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was one of four. I was the youngest of four children, but I was the youngest by quite a long way. So my three brothers kind of flew the nest, and so television was really quite important to me as a child.
You're right.
And I remember because I used to see that on Watch with Mother.
Yeah.
I mean, it must have been a few years after it came out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I really remember that you kind of had to learn to tell the time at a young age then, because if you didn't know what the time was, you sort of missed your television programme.
That's it, and it would never be seen again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I remember, Watch with Mother, which I think was on at about like 1 o'clock. It was a lunchtime thing for about 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you had, Bill and Ben, which kind of reminded me with the Hobnob commercial.
Yeah.
So that
was
a nice thing to work on because of that. And Andy Pandy, Wooden Tops.
Yeah, God, yes, that's right.
And then I think Torchy, the Battery Boy, came along at that point.
That's right.
A bit after as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, what's so interesting about watching clips on those early shows is how far and how pretty quickly Gerry sort of progressed in terms of the craft.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that's a fairly naive sort of presentation of a puppet show, isn't it? The characters are fairly roughly sculpted, and there's a single shot on just the two of them, but then suddenly we get into the likes of Fireball XL5, Supercar, and then Thunderbirds and Stickney. It's like they're mini movies, aren't they?
Well, that's right. I mean, Gerry used to talk to me about how he got into it, and he just saying like he would really just wanted to make programmes.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, somebody said, I can't remember who it was now, but you can make this Twizzle.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of got typecast in the puppet.
Yes. Yes.
Era.
That's right.
But then obviously he did go on to do live action, which he enjoyed doing as well.
Yeah,
but,
Didn't enjoy working with actors very much, though, from what we hear.
Well,
I think he himself said he preferred the puppets because they don't answer back.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think Gerry had. I mean, I got on really well with Gerry, and I know a lot of people that did as well. But I kind of knew that, he could have his moments with people.
Yeah.
So I think if you knew that and you were forewarned, and Gerry really was so loyal to the people that were loyal to him.
Yes.
And I think that's what made it such a nice, close family thing
exactly.
at Bray. And I know that there are a lot of people that worked with him for years and years, and I remained very good friends with Gerry and Mary.
Lovely.
It was really nice.
Now, I'm going to ask you some questions from our wonderful viewers and listeners.
Okay.
So we have a Facebook group, and that's where I post our guests who are coming up and ask our podsterons, as we call them, our listeners and viewers, if they want to leave any questions. And we've got quite a few for you.
Okay.
So are you ready for these?
Yes.
So John Stock says, "Hi Naomi, nice to see you. Would you say that Gerry was as professional making adverts as he was in his TV series?"
Oh, well, hi, John. That's a good question. Well, I would like to think so. The thing is, I only ever worked with him on commercials. I didn't work on the programmes, but he was very professional, so I can imagine that he would be. He took it all very, very seriously.
And as much care would have been taken over, for example, the Hobnob commercial we've seen and the RBS commercial that we've seen, he would have taken as much care over that as he would over Thunderbirds or Terrorhawks or whatever he might have been working on, surely.
Yeah, he would have done. And the advertising agencies and the clients really pay attention to, like, every second.
Yeah.
So, in a way, maybe you had to pay more attention to detail in commercials, I would say.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Juliet Legg says, "Hi Naomi, oh my gosh, you looked after my cats.
Yes, I
Buffy
did,
and
Juliet.
Panda.
Yes.
In your cattery many times. How did I not know you worked with Gerry Anderson?" By the way, she says, that's not my question, but she does want to know, which is harder, cat behaviour wrangling or trying to wrangle a commercial together?
Oh, okay. Well, hi, Juliet. Lovely to hear
It's funny,
from
isn't it?
you. Yeah.
Small world.
That's a really good question, actually.
So how long have you been working with cats?
I have been working with cats since 2003.
Yeah? What brought you into that world?
Well, we moved from West London to South Oxfordshire, very near to Gerry and Mary, so that's another connection that I have. So, in fact, they were the only people that we knew when we moved into the area.
Right.
So they were very, very kind and welcoming, which was nice. But the house that we moved into had a derelict cattery.
Oh.
Yes, on the land. So we sort of had this idea of renovating it and doing it up. And I'd always really liked animals, loved animals from a small child. And my husband as well, we're kind of quite animal orientated.
Yeah.
And we just thought, well, why don't we give it a go? So we did a lot of research.
Yeah.
I just read up on everything.
Yeah.
At that time, I have got 5 children, and my youngest was 2.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a great business. I could look after my family.
Yes. Right.
I was at home all the time.
Yeah.
So it fitted in really well with school holidays and that kind of thing. And just one thing led to another, and I got in touch with, I mean, if you're not in the cat world, you probably won't know, but iCat Care, which used to be Feline Advisory Bureau, and they really raised the standards of catteries all around the country. And so I decided if I was going to do it, it was going to be like one of the top catteries.
Yeah.
So I suppose the answer, going back to the actual question,
which is more difficult.
Yeah. In my head, they're both kind of productions, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
They both need an incredible amount of organisational skills, which, as some people would say, maybe I'm a bit over the top on.
Yeah, but you have to be to make it your profession, I guess.
Yeah. So, when you're doing a commercial, you've got to make sure everybody's there at the right time. You've booked the stage for the right time.
Yeah.
You've got all your models made on time. Your artists arrive on time. You've got the makeup art. You've just got to make sure it all comes in on budget.
Wow.
So from that aspect, and then with the cattery, you've got to make sure that you don't double book. You've got to make sure that you look after every cat's special need, the client's special needs, how they want you to look after their cats. So, and then you've got financial on both sides as well. So although very, very different, kind of a few similar skills needed,
that's
I suppose.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, I can see that, absolutely. Yeah. And you're bringing the same skills to both jobs in a way.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Emily Davis says, "Hi Naomi, what's your favourite pet in an Anderson production? Does that mean anything to you at all? There are various animals and creatures that appear throughout
No, there are,
Gerry's
and
series.
I always love them, except now I've gone completely blank and can't remember their names.
Well, there was, I think...
There's the cat in Twizzle.
Yes, that's right, Footso.
And
there was a strange creature called Zuni the Lazoon as well from Fireball XL5.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
I know in Four Feather Falls there was a dog and a talking horse as well.
Yes, that's
wasn't
right,
there?
exactly. Rocky and the dog Dusty.
Oh, bless
Rocky and
somebody
Dusty.
that can
It's always
remember.
helpful to have Chris Dale
it
around.
is. Those ones. And there is something so lovable about talking animals.
Yes. Yes, it's a fantasy for children, isn't it?
It is.
That their pets can
and,
talk
you
back.
know, even now it's just like...
Yeah.
Because we talk to our pets, don't we?
Yeah.
I know they, you know...
And in a way they
might
do
work
talk back,
for
but
meow,
that's right.
Or sometimes they just sort of look at you and think, well, yeah, I know what you're talking about, you know? So-
Sweet. Finally for now, Steve Bushell says, hi Naomi, working with cats seems to be far removed from stop motion. Did you find the slow progress of stop motion frustrating? And how long would a 30-second commercial, for example, take from start to finish? So was it a frustrating process working in stop motion as opposed to puppetry?
Well, it is a bit like watching paint dry, I'm not going to lie. It can go on, you know, if you think you're just filming like maybe 30, 40 seconds, you know, you can take 8-10 days.
That can take 8 to 10 days.
Depending on the complexity.
Yeah. Wow.
But I didn't have to be there watching every move in my particular role.
Yeah.
So the animators did that, the lighting cameramen were there, so the model makers. So I kind of think that probably affected them more because I was a bit more in and out, making sure it was all going all right and we were all going to time and they were getting the shots in on time and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
All for now, but will you come back and join us again next week?
Oh,
We'll
I'd
do
love
more of the
to.
same.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank
Naomi,
you.
thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Naomi.
Lovely.
That was nice.
Well, really nice.
Now,
Yes.
I know that Naomi's been doing quite a lot of research in preparation for this chat, so
Oh.
that really shows clearly
Yes.
that she's been
Yeah.
boning up.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how we get on next week when I'll be talking to her about her other moments in her career and playing some more commercials.
Yay.
Always fun to see, aren't
Yeah,
they?
loads of them.
Great, really sweet.
Loads more than I remembered, actually.
Yeah,
It was really nice.
Yeah, tons of them. Some of them I didn't even know about. And if I had known in advance, I would have downloaded them and we could have showed them.
Yeah.
Never mind, next time. Have to ask
I
about
don't know if we found the Sanitary Tale one. But,
No, I did
you know.
search for that. Yeah, interesting. Right, but in the meantime, let's move on to a more absorbing part of the podcast and let's hear from our lovely Podsterons.
Yes.
Hurrah!
This is the voice of the Podsterons.
I love it when people email us at podcast@gerryanderson.com because it means that we have enough content to provide us with a section of the podcast that we call the Voice of the Podsterons.
Thank goodness.
It would be a bit shorter if they didn't.
It would. Hi, Jamie, Richard, Chris, and all the backstage crew, says Chris
He's there.
Turner.
He's
There
there.
he is. There's the backstage crew over there. Chris says, at the start of the year, you asked on the pod what new stuff we would like to see in 2025.
I did ask
You
that
did.
some time ago.
Well, it's obviously, says Chris, an anniversary-heavy year with the 60th anniversary of Thunderbirds, 50th for Space 1999, and 20th for New Captain Scarlet. I think Thunderbirds and Space are well covered. I've just been reading about the brand new collector's edition Blu-ray of the Thunderbirds, which is very exciting. So can I make a plea for a show of love for New Captain Scarlet? I think we all agree it's a great show, so this 20th anniversary year is the perfect opportunity to give it the platform it deserves with some brand new merch.
Absolutely.
I guess it's too much to hope for an NCS vehicle in the Anderson collectible diecast range. So, how about a novelisation, an audio drama, or a new graphic novel? A technical manual featuring Dominic Lavery's designs would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
The icing on the cake would be a rebooted new CGI show, NCS2. Come on, Jamie.
New Captain Scarlet.
I'm sure there are so many new stories to tell. Let's hear it for New Captain Scarlet. Oh, before I go, says Chris, a quick fab fact. The film The Brutalist is hotly tipped to win lots of awards in 2025. Did you know that its writer, and in fact, I think it did win various awards. It's just recently won an Oscar for Adrian Brody. Did you know that its writer and director Brady Corbett played Alan Tracy in the 2004 Thunderbirds movie?
Yes, we did know that.
There's always an Anderson connection. And a final thought, would Richard make a good double for Adrian Brody, star of The Brutalist? Have you seen them in the same room together? Best wishes, Chris Turner.
I can see it.
What can he mean?
Never seen you together. That's weird, isn't it?
I'm not Adrian Brody.
Oh.
Sorry to disappoint.
Okay.
I don't have his eyebrows.
I was told Adrian Brody, that was who I'd be working with.
No, sorry to
Take
take you
it
down.
over agent.
My agent, yeah.
NCS, we've looked at all sorts of options. It's just a time and bandwidth thing. You know, if the team was 3 times the size, we could do lots of stuff for everyone. I did a little birdie.
Yeah.
I mean, Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Said that Ross might do a feature with about the making of New Captain Scarlet. He's just
Did
given
he?
a double thumbs up there.
Has he?
So I would say look at the YouTube channel in the coming months, and there will be something
Summer?
significant there.
Right.
Yes.
No pressure.
Yes, he's nodding.
And Ross and I have often spoke about recreating the opening sequence of New Captain Scarlet, or Captain Scarlet, haven't we, in the graveyard with me as Captain Black. We should do that, shouldn't we, Ross?
Great.
Yeah. Oh, he's nodding, so I'm taking that as a yes. I'm taking that as a booking. Who do I invoice?
The next podcast from your jail cell. Arrested for...
loitering in graveyards.
Although it just occurred to me, you say 60th anniversary of Thunderbirds, 50th of Space 1999. Of course, that carries on into next year.
Yes, it's a year-long thing.
Next year is the 60th of Thunderbirds Our Go, and Series 2 of Space 1999.
And
so
the year after
rolls on.
Captain Scarlet.
Captain Scarlet.
So, and
lots of good stuff.
Twizzle.
Very important Twizzle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think next year is the 32nd anniversary of Space Precinct. So do we have anything lined up for that?
TVC.
Fight the future too.
Carry on fighting the future.
Yes.
Yeah. I have an email from Jane Ann Liston.
Oh, yes.
Whose first Anderson memory is a supercar. And is from St Andrews.
Ah, great.
Dear Chris, Richard,
Yes.
and Jamie.
Oh, yes.
I was surprised to see that the elegant secretary in the episode of UFO was played by Norma Ronald. As hitherto, I'd only come across her in radio comedy, in particular playing the very difficult secretary Mildred Murfin in The Men from the Ministry.
I like that. Mildred Murfin for the Men from the Ministry.
So that's a real mouthful.
Yeah.
I think UFO marked her for a promotion. It's amazing who turns up in old programmes. Around New Year, Christine Finn, who voiced Tintin, popped up in a period drama on the BBC. The other week, Ray Barrett, who played Titan and the Hood, was the villain in an episode of Gideon's Way on Talking Pictures television.
Yes. Christine Finn was in an episode of Gideon as well.
There you go. And just a few days ago, while watching an episode of Maigret, the cellars of the Majestic Hotel, was Rupert Davies, the Professor McLean in Joe 90.
Ooh.
I recognised the dulcet tones of Jeff Tracy, and sure enough, Peter Diley was there as well.
Ah, great.
There you go.
Lovely.
I'll keep listening for other Anderson voices. It's so interesting to see how how actors' careers progressed.
Yes.
That's Jane Ann Liston. Now, something you might like, Jane Ann Liston from St Andrews.
Oh.
Some videos that Chris made for the Jerry Anderson YouTube channel.
Yes.
Beyond Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Haven't made any of those for a while.
No,
I think
but there are a
there's
few episodes
7
there.
maybe?
Ed Bishop,
Ed was
Cy
the first.
Grant.
Cy Grant.
David Graham?
No.
You didn't do
no,
David?
I didn't do David.
We
no.
thought about it.
I thought about it and I thought, well, there's so much to cover.
fair.
And a lot of it is stage. So
Shane Rimmer?
Shane is on there, yes.
Denise?
Yes.
There you go.
Paul
Jane.
Maxwell, Jeremy Watkin. Yes.
Yeah, go watch him. Great series. Nice stuff from Chris there.
But also, speaking of Norma Ronald, I can go into a bit of a fab fact here about
Please do.
why she is in UFO.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Well, because she had previously been the secretary in Doppelganger. Playing the secretary of Patrick Weimark's character. Now, she had previously, to Doppelganger, played the secretary to Patrick Weimark's character in a series called The Planemakers and its sequel, The Power Game.
What?
Which Gerry and Sylvia were both huge fans of. So they cast Patrick Weimark in Doppelganger because they liked him in that show, brought her along as the secretary, and then kept her on as the secretary for UFO. So together with this Men from the Ministry, that's 5 different things which Norma Ronald plays the secretary in.
Yes.
There must be more.
Yes.
But
Typecast.
Yeah. But again, it just shows the chain of sort of, I've seen you in this one, so I'll put you in mine and keep you there.
Yeah,
Which is nice.
Yeah. Nice.
Great fab fact.
Yeah,
like
thank
it.
you.
Hannah's been in touch, Jamie.
Yes, and I'm going to read the email right now.
And Chris is going to read
Did you
it.
not read the last one?
No.
You were just talking about it.
That's
yeah.
fine.
Hannah's been in touch, Chris.
She has, Richard.
Yeah.
Yes. She
Hello,
says,
Hannah.
Dear Anderson team.
Oh.
I just want to say that I finally finished the first comic anthology from Stingray. We have one here. Very beautiful it is. And I would like to share my thoughts. I don't know what else to say, but what remarkable adventures there were in those pages, both from Deadly Uprising and TV21. That's good stuff in there. It was an interesting experience reading through those stories that were made back in the 1960s, around the same time that Stingray was on screen, and probably while Thunderbirds was being made. Yes, I think this would be the first time you'd see Stingray in colour. Unless you were there on the set. I guess I can now confirm the monster jellyfish was my very first TV21 story. I couldn't help but notice that some of them look very familiar to some TV episodes, and I see that the artist, Ron Embleton, did more than just the closing credits for Captain Scarlet. Yes, there's a lot of Ron Embleton artwork in here.
I see.
As for Deadly Uprising, I always got very excited when I started to read the 5 new stories. This means I can at last move on to Project Orca. But with Marine Minutes now finished, I've got a lot of of catching up to do.
You do.
I'll keep you all updated. Thank you, and PWOR, that's from Hannah. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you,
That's
Hannah.
nice. Yeah, so the last Marine Minute is out and done and dusted.
I think
It's by
there's
now.
one more. Yeah, there was one more. At the time of recording, there's one more to come.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's,
The eighth one.
It's coming out today. In fact,
Right.
the day of
Yes.
recording, which will be
Yes.
many weeks before you see
Yes,
this.
that's right. I see.
I think I might be in it.
Are you doing a special voice?
I think I have a line in there.
Are you not doing your Australian accent, are you?
I'd like to have done that. That'd be right.
Yeah.
What's the Aussie
Bonza?
word for bonza? Right, bonza, Sheila. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
nice.
very good. Oh, good. Well, I look forward to that. Is that the end of the Deadly Uprising saga?
That's it. It's closed.
Wow.
Case closed.
How much of it is still available, though?
All of it.
All of it?
Yeah.
Everything's still available.
And will be ad infinitum?
No. Everything that's been printed is a limited print run. So
Yeah.
when it's gone, it's gone.
Everything
Gotcha.
that has been printed is now available in discount bundles. You can get the 2 novels together, 20% off.
Perfect.
Or the 2 comic anthologies together, 20%
Very good.
off.
Very good.
Why not buy both?
And why not leave a review?
Indeed, reviews are very good
It's true,
and helpful.
Yeah, that's right. Because we can tweet about them then and say, aren't I clever? I love
Yeah,
it now.
look at me.
Yeah. Look at me.
Not me specifically.
No. Look at one. You might say.
One.
Yeah.
That's all we like to do.
Now, earlier on, I don't know if you were in the room, Naomi Opalinska, who was our guest this week and next week, well, I gave her the big red button for the randomizer for her to press to see if she could choose a random episode of a random Gerry Anderson series for us to watch.
What did you do with it?
Well, she went and pressed it.
Oh.
Should we see what happened?
Yeah, why not?
It's time for the randomizer. 1, 2, 3, go.
Thank you very much, Naomi. Let's see how far we get.
Going through black and white.
Yeah, through the early stuff. What the?
No.
Right.
Now, what does this mean?
This is
She
happened
may have
before.
broken it.
You've never seen this?
What?
Well, no, I have never seen this.
Are we familiar?
Oh, you've never seen this?
Ah, the show. Right.
See what you did there.
I think we've seen the episode already, haven't we? That was recently recovered? No?
Yes, I think I watched that by myself. Possibly.
Some time ago.
I think Nicholas Young pressed the button and got that one. He turned up with a film can.
Nicholas Young?
Nicholas Young.
Well, he did, yes. And a number plate, no doubt.
Of course, yes.
Tell us a bit about You've Never Seen This, Chris, for those that have never seen this.
It's a bit tricky because we don't know how many episodes there were.
Right.
We currently have, 3 and almost all of a fourth?
3 2/3.
3 2/3 currently in existence. This was a show directed by Gerry in the mid to late 50s, where he would go around the country with this chap called
Chris.
The World, with this guy called Pete Collins, who was on the trail of people who could do weird and unusual things.
Right.
And ironically, as Gerry often said, the series was called You've Never Seen This. It was never seen all that much. It was like put on as a sort of schedule filler here and there, and we don't know how many episodes there were.
Wow, amazing.
So something different. Have you ever seen You've Never Seen This?
I think I'm about to.
Oh.
Specs on.
Specs on.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, what the?
So,
what an intro.
Welcome to You've Never Seen This. I love the music.
Pete Collins says.
Yes.
I like that.
Have you ever seen someone standing on their head in the street?
Not in the street.
There you go.
Thames, from source to estuary,
Yes.
are laden with beauty.
I believe this is
legend,
episode
and
5.
romance.
For those keeping
Each
score
bend of this
on the
watery
You've Never
highway
Seen This Wikipedia
reveals
page.
Yet another picture.
Maidenhead, that's the sounding arch. Maidenhead, built by Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Right.
And there's Maidenhead Bridge through there, the white bridge there.
So you have seen this?
Well, literally.
Well, it's false advertising for you.
Very ordinary looking bridge. Across it runs the railroad.
Yeah.
It was built over 100 years ago
I mean-
by the great engineering genius
Just said that.
Brunel.
I don't know why we're bothering to watch this.
And it is reputedly the largest bridge of its type
Yes.
in the world.
With the largest span, yes.
Brunel's critics said it would
Fab
be
fact.
unsafe.
Thank
so
you, Ross.
The bridge was strengthened with timber. In 1837,
It fell down.
storm arose and the timber was swept away.
Oh.
The arches stood. Local legend says that one of the builders, just as the first train was due to cross the bridge,
Yes.
was unable to stand the mental strain and took his own life.
Oh, wow.
Right, okay.
This is so light-hearted, this, isn't it?
How does this connect to the man standing on his head?
The Vicar of Bray.
Bray?
Village is
Oh, yeah.
mentioned
It's
in
quite
the
local.
Domesday
Heston Blumenthal.
Survey of 1081. Some of the houses are nearly 700 years
7 years old.
Wow, at the time. Yeah, we should point out this is a fairly recent rediscovery, isn't it?
In the last few years, yeah.
Does it Network found this?
Yeah, Tim Beddoes, late Tim Beddoes found it. But we thought these were all lost to time and would never be recovered, and then to have any of it is amazing.
that he changed his faith 3 times, becoming twice
I do
Catholic,
like the RP-ified Scottish accent.
It's lovely, isn't it?
This is.
vicar of Bray.
It was the impresario Pete Collins. I don't want to say impresario is the word. I'm not familiar with him from anything else.
The real fickle vicar was Simon Allen, who lived in the 16th century.
Right.
Whatever the truth of the matter may be,
Just waiting for Stan the Unwin to poople past
village
in the
of Bray,
Model
the
T4.
old church and the river cast a spell over all who behold them. We mayn't admire the vicar,
We mayn't.
but he was
Mayn't,
met,
what a great
and
word.
the temptation was great.
Right,
Scenes
back on the
of
river.
Tranquil beauty are on every side. Who would ever imagine that at peaceful
Slow
Halifax
TV,
Bend
this, isn't it?
is
Yeah.
situated the maddest, craziest restaurant in the world.
Oh.
A restaurant that Len, as proprietor, calls the best place for the worst food.
Oh,
Okay.
Hang on.
Here we go.
The Hovel.
The Hovel,
And here's
right.
what you have to do to read the name on the building.
Okay.
Len says that if the sign were the right way up, it would attract far too many customers. I was just a little apprehensive as I approached the place. Len had promised to attend to me personally.
Oh,
Right.
It sounded ominous.
it does
Well,
sound
yes.
ominous.
What kind of place was this?
Poor soul.
Wonder if this is still there.
Poor mug. The hovel in Bray.
Yes.
I bet it's not. I'm going to look it up. So when...
Not a single square inch of wall or ceiling could be seen through the layer of startling exhibits which
So
were
bizarre.
gathered here
Extraordinary.
from every country in the
When
world.
when Tim Beddoes
It looked like
scanned
a
this
museum,
film,
an
he
accidental
called me
shop,
excitedly
an inventor's paradise,
on
all
FaceTime
jumbled together
and
by
showed me this
somebody
bit as Pete
who
Collins
said
walks in and
humor
said, "Is that your dad?"
Yeah, right. Yes, I can see that. Yeah.
No,
no,
it
it's
wasn't.
Len himself didn't seem to fit any of the descriptions I'd had of him. But you never can tell. First I asked if he'd any nice fish, and he said that he had. And he could guarantee that it was fresh.
I'm getting sort of Sweeney Todd
Too
vibes.
late.
Oh no.
2 other customers had been there before me.
What's going on?
Well, it's a restaurant that sells deliberately bad food.
Yes.
How about some coffee?
Certainly, sir.
Lip reading, see?
Try my
Impressive.
famous Nettor coffee.
Oh, God, this guy's really tiresome, isn't he? Imagine walking into this place. Can I have a cup of coffee? He's like, yes! Oh,
I'm a bit wacky. Oh god, no.
It was poured into the Australian coffee cup. It's the right way up in Melbourne.
all
I
right.
thought I'd like some cheese, so Len produced the rat trap. He explained that
Rat
he
trap,
used to put the cheese on the plate, but when the rats went to the trap, they were often disappointed.
I
because
just
the cheese
want
wasn't
some
there.
coffee
He couldn't
and some
bear to see
cheese.
the perfect
Is that too much to ask?
I hate to say it, but I feel like this would be what would happen if Terry Adlam bought a pub.
Oh, now I want to see that.
But I was getting hungry, so I asked for the menu.
Right.
I think I'll have a look at the menu.
And he gave me
Yeah.
another
That was
cat.
it. You finish one course, then turn the plate over and order the next. I ordered
There's a mixed
steak,
grill.
And Len said that I would be served in
The muck hole.
I mean, I feel like this place must have been a health and safety nightmare.
A
Yeah.
large tree grew right up through the ceiling. Len explained
Yeah.
that it would soon have to be trimmed, as it was starting to tip his bed over in the room above.
He doesn't seem to have many other customers.
No.
No, very quiet.
Oh, hilarious.
Then I met Len's first customer.
What's that?
Skull?
Wow. Water otter?
It's taking its time, isn't it?
Oh, it's very slow telly.
But it's worth it for his great responses, reactions.
Sing it, Ed.
Spiders.
Spiders.
Have you ever had the feeling that you are not alone?
What? It's...
In the summer months, visitors sometimes drift in from the river to have a look round.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. I feel like this young lady was never seen again afterwards.
No.
Just never escaped.
Right. You don't think that'd be allowed now?
Choose steadily all day to encourage the customer.
Of course, if you're a chap wearing trousers and you spend your money on that, you'd feel a bit cheated, wouldn't you?
Yes, you would rather.
Yeah.
He even brought me a nice hot loaf. Len has invented the world's biggest jukebox. He says there are horrible things at the best of times, so his might as well be the most horrible one in existence. It plays 70 records, one after the other. They approach the turntable on an endless belt, and Len says the thing gives him an endless headache. But the customers do seem to like it.
What customers?
We have no evidence of customers at this point, no.
When you leave, any comments you may make about this crazy place are picked up by a microphone hidden outside and relayed.
If you can't smell it, we ain't got it. Well, there's a...
I would like to see Yelp reviews and such nowadays for this place.
I told him that I'd enjoyed my meal. He said that I was the very first person who'd ever said so, and asked me in future to be good enough to take my custom elsewhere. He moved to the microphone to speed me on my way.
If you bring it up, bring it back. I'll give you a discount.
I mean, this guy's hilarious, isn't he?
It is, yeah.
Nice fellow, that Pete Collins, but a bit eccentric. Of course,
Here are other regular characters. We have American Guy and Secretary, who is there for jokes.
Yes.
What about
Yes.
Percy Turner, Mr. Collins?
Why, of course. He came to see me only last week.
He was a lampshade. Very unusual.
And he brought his friend to the table. Oh, it's rather nice furniture, actually, isn't it?
So what have we here?
That's fire guard. Give that a stroke.
Stop
It's a
touching it.
rub rather than a stroke.
Take it away from you.
You know, Mr. Turner, I'm beginning to suspect that there's more in this than meets the eye. Am I right?
You're right. There is.
There is something peculiar, or at least unusual.
He's a
about this
natural.
furniture.
Yes.
Now let's see, what have we? A standard lamp, a coffee table.
Ah,
a
yes, I
bedside
remember this
table,
now.
A cabinet.
A cuddly toy.
Yes.
And a tray, all beautifully inlaid. Did you make these yourself?
Yes.
Congratulations.
You want to start something? You say I didn't do this?
Or in the material of which it is made.
It's a brilliant interview.
He's like the worst ever podcast guest, isn't he?
What is unusual?
That's not his voice, is it?
Would you like to see the material of which
Oh,
they're
maybe it
made?
is.
Very much.
Oh, okay.
He's showing a match.
Matchsticks.
Gosh.
Oh, it's all made of matches.
Yeah.
Turner was how on earth he managed
So they do
to
get some
such
genuinely
big
impressive
particles
stuff
from
on
the
here at
tiny
times.
Yeah.
He very kindly explained the process to me. For patient ingenuity, it is quite the most remarkable achievement I have ever heard of.
Well,
Okay, don't get that much then.
modern medicine? Not interested in that. This guy makes things from matchsticks.
Matches are carefully topped and tailed.
Topped and tailed.
Giving them the correct length for the next stage. Each match is quickly inspected
Oh.
and imperfect specimens
Does them
are
all
set
individually.
aside. The knife must be razor sharp,
Razor.
as clean ends are essential.
Yeah, I've always
know.
thought.
Then a sheet of newspaper is fastened with adhesive tape onto a board.
Right.
This board is used as a firm base only and does
This
not
guy would probably
form
be
part of
doing
the
a
furniture.
bomb of a business on
That's
Etsy or
entirely
something
Yeah,
these
yeah.
days, wouldn't he?
A thin line of glue is then drawn down the side of the guide stick. Mr. Turner uses so much glue in the making of his furniture
That
he
he's
has to buy a
permanently
color
high.
sheet. Then, again one by one, each match is carefully placed in position.
This is actually quite interesting.
Yes. But it shows like this as well, the music, the background music, constant jolliness, I like.
Short pipe matches for the top surface. A sheet of paper is placed over each layer.
A layer
And a
of
cold
paper.
arm is firmly pressed over the surface. This looks quite simple, but it isn't.
Isn't it?
When he first started, Mr. Turner used to pull up half the matches with the paper when it was removed.
Oh.
The secret is to allow the glue to set almost hard.
Right. I mean, yeah.
When all the layers have been built up, the surface and any paper that sticks to it is smoothed off with sandpaper.
Right.
New hobby for you here.
I love it.
We should have set Ross to make one of these while we're
Yes,
watching it as a bit of a
yes.
challenge.
How long must this have taken, though?
Well, hopefully they'll answer that question
Yes.
in the coming minutes.
Can't wait.
Well, it was back when my wife first left me.
The method by which he obtains his artistic inlaid effects is this. The design is made in hard matches, bent into the required shape. These are kept in position with pins until they are set.
I see.
This coffee table will contain 70,000 matches.
Oh, gosh.
I mean,
It's hardly conceivable that objects as beautiful as these are made from such unlikely materials.
they are nice.
What gave you the idea?
I started during the war when timber was so scarce. I wanted to make a wedding present for a friend.
Has he been ADR'd?
It does look
It
like it,
does
doesn't it?
Congratulated on a unique and useful hobby.
I've brought you a little present.
Uh-oh.
Really?
Oh, dear.
How nice.
How would you like a nice inlaid coffee tray like this?
A coffee tray.
Like this?
Shouldn't have bought
But not this one.
Not that one, no.
Put it into the incinerator.
Goodbye. Oh. Wow.
Oh, I see.
You can make your own. Is he going to do that?
Have all the matches in the world.
Well, there are the matches.
Ah, very good.
Get started.
I like the cut of his man's
Hilarious.
chin.
This is where Pete Collins' repressed pyromania starts to kick in. So much fire.
He was allegedly a terrible alcoholic and was
Yes.
drunk on set most of the
Yes,
time.
I heard a lot of the budget was drunk by Pete Collins, yes.
Yes, he used to disappear off for days when they were supposed to be shooting. Allegedly.
He had a wonderful, intriguing hobby, and it was useful as well.
I know of a lady who's turned her strange
I've just
hobby
realised
into a
the three of them
profitable
sitting around a table just talking nonsense.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
The lady's name is Miss Luke of Winscombe, Somerset.
Well,
Yeah.
She's an animal lover, and she has a fine kennel of Samoyed dogs.
Oh, I love Samoyeds.
Weaving dog's wool brings to modern Somerset.
I'm glad that the Gerry Anderson podcast has now got to a point where, like other videos on YouTube, we're just looking at cute animals. I think it's
Had to
about
happen.
time.
Most of the wool is obtained when the dogs molt, which takes place roughly every 6 months.
Oh, God, I bet that's
Daily
annoying.
combings are not used, as the finer hair of the soft undercoat is necessary for this type of weaving.
Weaving, you say?
oh yes, dog wool.
Yes. Oh,
Dog wool.
We're making dog wool.
The name Samoyed is that of a great nomadic tribe. It is also the name of the country in which they live, and it is the name they give to their dogs.
Wow, okay. It's not very inventive, is it?
No.
And the name they give to their wives and their food.
and they're made out of matchsticks.
By this means, the wool is cleaned of any bits.
Ugh. I dread to think.
The spinning wheel used by Miss Luke
The other dog has passed out due
Dog's
to the
dead,
excitement.
yeah.
150 years old. It still works perfectly.
Wow.
Dog's wool is beautifully soft and warm.
Dog's wool.
Dog's wool.
Just
I don't know.
The valuable cashmere
What's wrong with dog's wool?
For dyeing the dog's wool,
It's not dog's milk.
Dog's milk.
Oh, no.
Oh, that'll be the next item.
Canadian logwood, privet, and weld.
I mean, if it was just socks or something like that, I'd be all right with. But like a full top, it might be a bit
or underwear,
itchy. Yeah,
swimming costume. Oh no!
Soft as a cloud.
A cushion.
Soft as a cloud.
But it's dog wool.
Now a skiing bonnet.
So?
Samoyed wool gives...
You've got to do something with it. You can't just throw it away.
It must protect them from the bleak cold of the vast tundra country, which extends from the eastern shores of the White Sea in northern Russia to the river Katanga in western Siberia.
Exactly where we're not.
Yes.
So this is entirely useless.
And lastly, a warm, fleecy cardigan.
But it's dog wool.
In his native country,
Are they going to put it on the dogs?
Samoyed is the keeper of the reindeer herds, the defender of the household, and the domestic pet. But nobody ever thinks of
And a tasty
spending
lunch.
Oh. More milkshakes.
God, they really hit the
Bring
booze
the
there.
milkshakes.
More milkshakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you said there's nothing extraordinary in that, and they said, oh yes there is, I'm a dog.
I actually know of a professional dog vocalist.
That's great. Don't tell us about it.
Recording star.
Oh, you're going to tell us about it, aren't you?
How much is that doggy in the window with the Swiss
People in the
star
background have got
piece
fed up
and
with him. They're leaving.
become a bestseller. Her name is Bibiche, and her partner is a young Frenchman called Jean Valadier.
Okay.
Bibiche lives at Wheelbarrow View, The Garden, Paris.
Oh, we'll
It
make a
was
note of
a warm,
that.
sunny day, and what I'm going to tell you now has been attributed by some people to a sleepy condition caused by the heat.
Okay.
At first, we thought that there was
So
nobody
it's
at home,
dimensionally transcendental, this kennel.
Oh, gosh.
but there was.
Oh, look!
The dog TARDIS. Yeah, she's cute.
I mean, they built a set.
Yeah.
was
And everything.
delighted to see us and offered a welcoming call. Although she hadn't the usual cup of coffee to offer us, that didn't matter.
The dogs usually.
She was a terrible host.
He hasn't had much luck with coffee this week, so...
A little basket of flowers from her own garden.
And a tea cosy made out of her own fur.
Hello. Who can that be at this time of day?
At the kennel.
I didn't like the look of that envelope. Far too official. As she hadn't her spectacles handy, Jean Valadier
It's a court
read the
summons.
letter for her.
What's going on?
Disaster.
There's been a delivery to the kennel
for the dog.
Very important.
The income tax. In default of the immediate payment of 4,000 bones, she must go to jail.
Oh, no. Oh, who sent that to jail? Oh, no.
It's feeling a bit fever dreamy now.
Yes.
No use crying over old bones.
I thought this item was about a man who could vocalise like a dog.
No, it's a dog that can vocalise like a human, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good talking to.
I mean, wait for it. Oh, she's going to that prison there.
Once they're done with the hilarious prop comedy, I'm
Right.
sure it'll pick up.
It was solid on all sides. It certainly was.
It's a magic trick.
Even Houdini himself couldn't escape from that one.
The dog has clearly lost
Yawn,
interest.
sorry. Get on with it, Pete. Come on. And Bibiche.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, padlocked her in.
Locked her away.
Wow.
But just to make quite sure,
We're going to electrocute her.
I'm sorry, Bibiche. This hurts us more than it hurts you. But the letter says you've got to be kept in jail for 5 whole minutes.
Without a trial?
And in
This
solitary
doesn't seem
confinement.
fair.
Right.
Oh.
What can you do?
I wonder what could possibly happen now.
Obvious jump cut, maybe? Yeah, there we go.
There it was. Oh.
A dog escape artist? No, I've seen everything.
Oh, incredible.
And yet somehow there are at least 2 more episodes to get through.
Then Valadier asked me if I would like to see Bibiche perform a card trick. I, of course, said that I would.
There we go, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
First, he asked me to select a card from the pack.
Right.
Standard.
The 9 of hearts.
Don't tell him.
I shuffled the pack.
Still
shuffling it, yeah.
Now let's see her find that. Bibiche was standing right at the other side of the kennel, where she couldn't possibly have seen where the card was put.
She's just there looking.
She's just there, yeah. She's got a camera in that photo behind you as well. She saw everything. Yeah, I think nowadays this would be a Britain's Got Talent kind of thing or similar.
Then the deck of cards selected by Bibiche was divided once.
But when I look at this, I think of your dad standing off camera, full of thoughts of, I want to direct Ben-Hur, I want to direct Ben-Hur. Now I've got this stupid dog.
A dog magician.
Pick the right card, come on.
Doggy McGee.
Yeah. Doggy McGee.
Thank you.
Oh, the dog's eating the card.
The 9 of hearts.
Hey.
Hooray!
The slightest idea how she did it.
Oh.
Well done,
Or whether
Bibiche.
she did it.
Yes.
Know when it's time to leave. And it was long past Bibiche's bedtime. So we bade her good night and left her to dream of daring deeds with cats. But Bibiche hasn't become a famous dog pianist and singer without lots of practice.
Oh.
Or without singing and playing the piano, which we haven't seen yet.
I bet she has.
I mean, is it any different to animal videos on TikTok and Instagram now?
Yeah, but I don't watch those either.
I do.
And they're mercifully short compared to this. If anybody's outside walking past the studio now, we're going to wonder what's going on.
I just think the camera will pan to the left where we see the electrodes that have been applied to the dog.
Or Simon Cowell will be there going, nah, don't like that.
Please let it end.
We've got another 3 concertos to get through yet.
Okay. Let's leave it there, shall we?
Surely that's enough.
Again, just picturing Gerry. We need that close-up of the tail. We haven't got it right yet.
Oh, phew.
Yes, yes. Well done, Bibiche. Capiche, Bibiche?
So she's
Oh,
barking
enough,
at the
Bibiche.
picture.
Come on.
Oh, there's the picture. Finally, we're gonna. Oh no!
Oh, God.
Oh, okay.
That's a dark ending.
Sounds like one of the world's great.
Wow.
That reminds me of a cat serial killer I met once.
What on earth is going on now?
It's just the nature of this show.
Have a machine gun. Strafe them. Come on, finish it. Oh, Bibiche is flying a helicopter now.
I've been a date.
Oh.
With an angel? No, with a helicopter.
I don't know if you spotted it there.
Yes.
Let's walk through here wordlessly.
Tell me, Pete, in which countries do you find the most curiosities?
Oh, Bray.
Germany, France, Italy,
All of them.
And space.
Well, yeah.
Obviously,
Oh,
Spain.
goes without saying.
Goodbye, Pete. Nice to have seen you again.
Do I get a handshake? No. Okay, bye.
Leave it hanging. Bye, Pete. Oh.
Pete seems like one of those people who just goes through life completely ensconced in his own world. He doesn't care what anyone else might have on the go. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
As the helicopter takes off, the American guy goes, kill him.
What's
Detonate.
That? Isn't Spy Who Loves You the helicopter explosion? Yeah. Well. See, they could have cut all of this.
Yeah, you really could.
But they didn't.
No, no.
Helicopter Services Limited.
Gatwick Airport, Surrey. Okay.
Nice.
Bye. Bye, Pete. I mean, just realised that he's left without paying for the milkshakes.
Yes. That'll be 3 shillings and 6, please.
Which one is he after this time?
Which what?
country.
Which country? Where's he going?
Yeah.
France, Spain, Egypt?
Italy?
Dad? Good gracious, no. Mr. Collins has gone home to lunch.
But we're in a nice place that clearly
Could have had lunch
sells
here.
food and drink. Yeah.
That's how fancy he is.
He's got to go back to that pub that he started in.
Should come back to the hovel.
Yes, get some more cheese. I do love this music.
Yeah, Gabe McGregor.
Wow.
McGregor.
There
She
you
was
go.
the one who was mostly ignored. There you go. Arthur Provis. That's where they met.
Edwin Astley.
Musical director.
Yes, music for lots of ITC shows.
Ah.
Des Saunders, all the familiar.
yeah.
Yeah, they brought familiar
Yes.
names with them even from here.
Scenario.
Yes.
Right.
P.L. Cecil Gurney.
Only the sort of name that you would have there.
That's wonderful.
There we go.
Hey, that's why it's here.
Directorial debut.
Devised. I've got an idea.
Yes.
Made in Taplow.
Yep.
Well. You've never seen this.
Yes. Quite an eye-opener.
I mean, I really enjoyed that.
Yes.
In parts.
It overstayed its welcome at points.
Yes.
I feel like there was enough dead space for them to squeeze in another item somewhere. if
Or
they
just
cut
have a shorter
through it,
episode.
Shorter
Oh, yeah.
episode,
You could have edited that down to 10 minutes, I think.
But, you can see it's doing its job. Obviously, it was a bit of a filler, wasn't it?
Yes.
In
And
those
an
days,
unusual one at that.
That's right. Schedules sometimes underran, didn't they? I mean, and they used to put on cartoons and things, do I remember?
Yeah.
Well, that
All
would have
this.
played the exact same role, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Or the test card.
Yes.
Or,
Yeah.
The Potter's Wheel.
Potter's
and all
Wheel.
that.
That's
That's
the thing
right.
I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
Is it fair to give it marks out of 5? I know you like to judge it on other...
I can't. I don't feel that I can because it's so
Something of a curio.
Something of a curio, yes. I mean, I would say thumbs up or thumbs down, and I'm thumbs up on that.
Oh, I'm thumbs up, for
Yeah.
sure. Quite how far I'm thumbs up, I don't know.
Yes.
Because I like cute animals.
Yes.
I kind of like that it is unusual stuff.
Yes.
That guy with the matches, okay, he was boring as sin, but he was producing some very interesting stuff.
Yes, that's right.
Lovely furniture.
Yeah, lovely
coffee
furniture.
tray.
Beautiful. Podsterons, if you've ever made anything out of matches, send us a picture. And we'll show it on
If
the
your
on the
dog
podcast.
can play the piano, can play the Thunderbirds theme on the piano, let us know.
Yeah, please do. Now, I did find the hovel was not in Bray.
Oh.
That was a fib.
Pete Collins lied to us.
It was in Middlesex, is
Right.
the only address I've got here, on the Thames.
Yes, okay.
And I found a British Pathé film, which is only a minute long, thankfully.
Right.
From 1951, and shows many of the same features.
Right.
So, but I think sadly it is no longer around. But it does show people. It does show they had customers at least.
Oh, well, that's
So-
good to hear, isn't it?
So maybe it was off the back of that they got customers.
Yes.
Pete Collins
Yeah.
may have done them a favour.
Yes.
The publican's walking around wearing a gas mask in this video. So
Is the guy still out there standing on his head? That would be just a skeleton in the
thankfully
middle.
not. Thankfully not.
Well, Podsterons, what did you think of that episode?
Yes.
Never seen before in public? Is it on
it's on the colorization Blu-rays.
there it
Yeah,
is.
Network did it on a streaming night, and it is out on Blu-ray.
What do you think of You've Never Seen This? Had you ever seen it? Let us know your thoughts beneath this video. In the meantime, email us at podcast@gerryanderson.com. Follow us on all your socials. And also do leave a nice review or a rating.
Oh, yeah,
That
we
we'd
like
like to
that.
call a revating wherever you listen or watch us. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we love
In the meantime, next week we've got the second part of my interview with Naomi Opalinska.
Yes.
We've got another episode of the Randomiser. More news, and more emails from our Podsterons.
All that and more.
Packed program.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get started. Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
So what was your favourite segment on that?
I found the dog quite tiresome.
Oh,
Do you?
God.
Yes.
I love dogs, but I didn't love that
I
dog.
didn't see the point of that particular
I think if it was just the musical thing and then move on to something else, but the whole card thing and the escape thing seemed a bit cruel.
Yes.
Even though there was a really obvious jump cut where someone had gone in and let it out.
Should one of us bring in a pet next time and see if they can do anything extraordinary for the benefit of our viewers?
Well, I've got some to choose from.
Would you bring a sheep in?
I could bring a sheep in.
Well, there is a dog staying at the hotel right now. I saw at breakfast this morning.
Does it know magic or can it sing?
Yes. Does it know anything about Gerry Anderson?
Well, go and get it. Find
I know
out.
it likes sausages. It was,
That'll do. Let's see, eat a sausage.
How many sausages it can eat? Right.
Brilliant. Bring it on.
That was an Anderson Entertainment production.